This thing on? Is this thing on? Hey, I'm having fun today. I have fun most every day. I called my auntie. Her birthday is this month. She'll be 104 years old. So I gave her a call. I want her to know that I'm thinking of her and that, stuff like that. I even had her yesterday on one of the calls on a live show I was on the panel, and I called her up so they can hear her talk because people don't believe reality; they believe what they can read, document, and source. So I brought her up as a source. Look, hey. So anyway, today is about this concept called paradise. You know, uh, paradise is a concept. It's not a location. That's what a lot of people think. You're in paradise. Paradise is a concept, not a location. You think in terms of paradise, you think in terms of nature, you think in terms of birds and butterflies and happy people. Yeah, that's a concept. Because the people are happy. You can take the same birds and trees and nature and have miserable people because the people are miserable. So they're not in paradise. To them, it's not paradise. You can see that a lot of times when you go to these vacation spots and you notice the locals. A lot of a lot of the locals don't feel paradisey. I mean, they're in I mean, in the what you call it, the location, but they're not happy. That's what I mean. About paradisey. You're supposed to be happy. You know what I mean? When you're in paradise, you're always happy and stuff. So I'm saying paradise is not a location. Paradise is a state of mind, a state of being. Paradise is a state of mind, a state of being, not a location. You can go from here to there and still be miserable. But you can stay right here and be happy. Because happiness is a decision. Misery is a decision, I guarantee you. Oh, I'm miserable because of whatever it is, whatever, it don't really matter. It's a decision. You can say, hey man, drop that and forget about it. Especially if it's not an arrow in your chest. Now, if you're miserable about an arrow in your chest, that's different. But if you're miserable about some crap out here in the social world, then you're just being stupid to yourself. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can deal with it as you please. I'm just suggesting that you let that craziness go, make a decision to be happy. And once you make a decision to be happy, you'll find that paradise is a state of being. It's not even a state of mind because you're going to have different stuff cross your mind that you may not like, you may like, all that kind of stuff. Just because you're happy don't mean you like everything. I'm happy, but I still don't like, toad legs. But I'm happy, but I don't like toad legs. That don't mean you like everything because you're happy. People like, hey, I don't know. I'm just saying you can take it to extreme, put up all kind of barriers to prevent yourself from saying, you know what, happiness is just a decision. And you can say, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about, and you can what about yourself for the next 60, 70 years if you like. I'm not going to do that and waste my time with it. I suggest you don't either. You just decide to be happy, be happy, be happy, be happy, and there you go. Now, does happy mean you're going to like everything that happens? No, that's not what we're talking about. That's not happy. uh, uh, yeah. I say we want to be glad about everything that happens. But if you're generally happy, then you can make the best of whatever happens. And then once you start making the best of whatever happens, more good things happen. I mean, better things happen. Best, best, better, something like that. So better things happen. When you're happy, you got that momentum of happiness. And a lot of it is like childlike because You know, people be trying to insult me. They be trying. I be laughing. They be trying to insult me. But since I know no one can insult me unless I allow them to insult me. Otherwise, they're just hurling noise, making sounds and stuff. You recognize? But when I let it pierce me, that's when it's an insult. But you know, it don't pierce me. So then it's not an insult. So I say they be trying to insult me. Because you got to pierce me to insult me, and I'm not allowing myself to be pierced by anything anyone says. We used to have a saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but talk don't bother me. And that's all it is, talk. Now they doing PR on it. Oh, he this, he that, they that, they that, they that. That's PR, and you know, people mind will go where they want. You know, if they allow it to go. But you can look at anybody's history and see our history in their history, and you can't find one blemish in our history in their history. I find more blemishes in our history about us than I find in other people's history about us. So I'm saying I see how that thing goes. We're being given a history because we mostly don't write our own history or recite our own history. We are reciting history from government records and all that kind of stuff like that instead of reciting history from our foreparents. And that ancestors, everybody ain't your doggone ancestors. You know, they foreparents, man. Try to have more to see the people who came out with that I call it fake cultural stuff, talking about African religions and all that stuff. You know, because I use terminologies like that when I'm talking to people, but when I'm not talking to people, when I'm educating people, I don't use terminology like that. But when I'm talking to people, just so they can relate to what I'm saying, I might say something like African religion, just to get them in the mind of what I'm saying. But when I'm teaching people, I do not use them terms. And when I'm talking to people who already are educated, I do not use those terms because we know for real we don't have what you call Africa. I'm older than Africa, man. I'm older than Nigeria. And y'all don't know that all these terms and qualifications and adherences you're making and loyalties you're binding to things that are fairly new and incorporate. You know, they're incorporated. They're corpses. And you're adhering yourself to corpses as though you and the corpse are the same. That's your business if you want to do it, but I don't do it. I'm older than those corporations. But I mean, like I said, if you want to do that, do your thing. So, what I'm looking at is the concept of paradise so people can realize what's up. The moment you were born into paradise. Look back over your childhood. How many times were you happy? Some people look over their childhood and say, yeah, I remember that time when my daddy did some, you know, whatever. The trauma, some trauma. And I say, okay, that's nice. But look over I want you to look in your childhood and see when you were happy. Because they have us trained by school, by the news, by public media and everything, by even our own barbershop talk. We're trained to look for the negative in anything and to just pretend like the positive didn't happen. Negative and positive is relative to where you are in life. Because at this moment you might be more negative than positive, la di da. So you use that negative and positive. I'm trying to use that with you. But the things that you see as what you want to occur in life, I call that positive. The things that you see as you do not want in your life, I'm referring to that as negative. I'm not saying the thing itself is intrinsically negative or the thing itself is intrinsically positive. This is what I mean about when I'm teaching, I don't use those terminologies, but I must use them just to get you to the idea of what I'm saying. When I say negative and positive, I'm not talking about the intrinsicality. of the item itself. It's neither negative or positive. It's just something. And then whether you can use it in your life, beneficial to you and your wants and desires, then we say it's positive. When you can't use it in your life, beneficial to you and your desires, then we refer to it as negative. Simply. Meanwhile, somebody else may see it as a positivity in their life because they're, and that's how that goes. So the thing itself is not negative or positive. It just is. And that's what we are saying when we say, hey, get into self, get into paradise, get into what is. Not what people say what is, but what really is. That's what people say. Well, that's your truth. Speak your truth, honey. Ain't nobody got that. Nobody got no lock on the truth, man. No part of it. It's just your perspective. You got a lock on your perspective if you want to. I mean, you could do that for a while. I suggest you don't have a lock on it, but stay in that room a while and be ready to leave it. Because perspectives must change. You know, you have one perspective when you're 11 years old, but you have a different perspective when you're 21 years old, and yet another one when you're 41 years old. And I dare say, should you live long enough when you reach 71 years old, you'll have a yet different perspective. So I'm saying don't really tighten up on them perspectives, because allow them to change, because you grow with perspective. Perspective is a matter of angling on what is. Okay, so now I take a little baby, they shorter than the table. They can't see what's on the table. They don't have that perspective. And then as they grow older, they can see what's on the table. Now they got the perspective to be able to see what's on the table. They grew into that perspective. Yeah? And so they have to adjust their thinking to that new perspective. That's what all this stuff is about. The truth didn't change. What's on the table is the same thing, but their perspectives change. I went in one direction, because that's, the business of what I do. I went in one direction and came back in another direction, looked at the same thing and saw it differently. When you're going, you see it one way. When you're coming back, you see it a different way. You get a different perspective. If you don't qualify that in your mind and use it because they talk about the law of physics. The law of physics is simply the laws of nature that's been written at least hundreds of thousands of years ago. They just revise them, put new words on them. It's the same laws. Can't nobody change the laws of nature, man. It ain't gonna happen. It's that, they say, Sir Isaac Newton came up with the law of gravity. Nobody knew things fell until Isaac Newton. That's what I used to ask in school when they first told me that garbage. I said, wait a minute, nobody knew things fell until Isaac Newton? What were people doing? And he was in the 17, 16, it don't matter, some kind of teenage, more than 100 years, and nobody, you could have been born right after and nobody knew nothing fell except him. He had to, I am so bright and brilliant, hot damn, something fell. And y'all write that down and tell me I'm supposed to revere that? Oh, you just lost both your minds. And then it just don't make sense, man. That people didn't know things fell, pity on them. I don't even see why you would even write a book about some crazy stuff like that. Oh, this guy came up with the fact that stuff falls. Hot and damn. It's so funny to me. I have trouble even considering it. But this is what we are teaching to our children, or reteaching to our children even, or allowing to be taught to our children even. And then our children look at us like we stupid, crazy, or treacherous for teaching them crap like that. Crap like Santa Claus. Crap like nobody's perfect, you born in sin. Oh, man, you know what? I think if a child had the ability and their parents say, oh, you born in sin, whenever they run that garbage on them, the child just jumps up and slap them in the face. Just jump up and, I mean, pimp slap their butt right in the face. That would be, that would be beautiful. And say, yeah, I'm born in sin. What you gonna do about it? There you go, my youth. I love it. Slap them right in the face, telling you that garbage. You born in sin. Just do something real sinful and slap them in the face. I'm 3 months old. Jump up and slap you in the doggone face for saying that stupid stuff. Born in sin. Born into the world, this beautiful paradise. When we were born into paradise. Look at the children around you. I see them all the time. They're so happy and cheer-free and running and stuff. I just get joy watching them enjoying life. I don't understand where the adults about ain't no paradise. Kids are enjoying life. Why? Because they haven't been indoctrinated in the crap yet. They haven't been told of their responsibilities and how life is serious and don't be laughing and having a good time because that's not adult. Adults should be laughing and having a good time. Now, if you're just wasting your time, that's different. I'm not talking about go out to party all the time. That's just stupid. I'm saying make something. Create something for your children and yourself. Produce your own products and stuff like that. And have fun in the world. And be a creative function in the world. That's what I'm saying. You know. And I know people say, oh, but you say have fun, so I'm just going to go have fun. I'm going to just be a whatever, a piece of slime on the street. That's not, of course, what nobody, is being said. What's being said is be happy with life. Take all those restrictions off you. Enlighten yourself and produce. Our purpose. What's my purpose? Your purpose is to produce. Your purpose is not to work on a 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 7 to 3:30, part-time, overtime, all that crap. That's not your purpose in life. If you, I think people give up, what's my purpose in life? You know your purpose in life. Most people do know their purpose in life. I can tell you, not your purpose in life, because I don't know you, but the purpose of life, I do know. That's just generally speaking in the world. The purpose of life is to represent reality. So you make something, you say something, it's all within reality. You say what is. You have a thought that came into your mind, an idea. Once it came into your mind, that was reality. It's becoming physical. But the moment it came into your mind, it came into reality. Now you want to put it into physical, what we call some other name, but when you can touch it, that's physical. Everything in reality is not touchable. Like radio waves, you don't touch them. So everything in reality is not touchable. So an idea is about a reality, but it hasn't become physical yet. Our conduit, being that the idea came through our conduit of ourselves, we can make it into something physical. And that's our purpose in life. Yeah. The same with plants and stuff. They have a purpose in life to produce the fruit of their labor. We have a purpose in life to produce the fruit of our labor. However, we function like, okay, my purpose in life when I'm born is to make bell peppers. But I don't have money, so I'm going to go work for this guy over here that make bananas. So I'm going to help him make bananas. And my purpose is to make bell peppers. How many bell peppers you think gonna get made while I'm helping him to make bananas? He gonna make more bananas because hell, I'm helping him. So when he says, "Hey, I'm the big guy on the block and I got the most stuff and stuff like that," and like he thought the rest of that story he'd be flamboyant with it. Remind yourself, he couldn't even be there if you didn't help him. You're helping him. You're propping him up. You clean his toilet when he goes to his purpose. You cleaning his toilet when he goes to do his purpose, and don't do your purpose. Your purpose ain't getting done, and guess what? Your toilet ain't getting cleaned either. See how beautiful slavery is? You know you're a slave when you ain't cleaning your own toilet. You know you're a slave when you ain't doing your own purpose, okay, but you can negotiate that. I'll do my thing for half an hour. I'll do your thing for half an hour. See, you're negotiating now because you got things to do. But when you are not cleaning, I'll clean your toilet, and I neglect to clean my own toilet, now you're a slave. If you're only buying stuff from other people who manufacture and make stuff and grow stuff, and you don't manufacture and make stuff or grow stuff, all you do is work for the people who manufacture stuff and work and make stuff, you are a slave, done deal. I don't care this stuff about, oh, if you ain't getting whipped, you ain't no slave. Yeah, don't be stupid, man. It just did that stuff to make it all crazy so you won't recognize that you're enslaved. So what I'm saying is the slavery goes like this. They are still in your view of paradise. They're still in your energy, your love of life. You see how they be looking happy in the TV and the movies and stuff. They looking like they so happy and shit. But when you really see them for real, they're not happy like that. But they're still in your energy because you're not using your own energy to make yourself happy like that. Make yourself prosperous and make yourself whatever you need in life. You're not doing that. You have to get it from someone else. Then you will always be enslaved. And they will always be taking your energy and putting it on their thing, which means it's perpetual because you're helping them now. It's all synchronicity now. You're actually helping them to enslave you. Otherwise, it couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. If you don't help, and that's why I heard somebody say, Kanye says that slavery is a choice. And I said, oh, I agree with him. People got mad at me like, oh, you agree with that? Hey, no. Hey, listen, I don't really listen to Kanye West music. It ain't my style and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care. If you said a dog barked the words, I would say, yeah, I agree. It don't matter to me who says truth, who espouses truth. That don't matter. That is the truth, and I recognize it by the bing, by the bong. I'm going with the truth thing. I ain't got loyalty like that. My loyalty is to truth. Guys say, hey, man, when they come, you going to tell them this and that and the other. I say, hey, man, it's probably best for me not to say nothing. Why? Why you ain't going to help me out? I say, dude, I'm not going to lie for you. I won't even lie for myself. Nobody gonna get me to lie, man. You can't do that. Truth is my God. And then to give that up is for me to give up my essence. You know, I be telling people, take truth as your God. If the God is all imperative, and truth simply means what is. This is the way I'm using that word, just in case you got all the definitions. They make up new ones to kind of counteract the intelligence that I'm offering. Then I'm telling you what I mean by the word truth, because I could use just as easily spray bottle. I could say spray bottle means truth. Them little words don't matter. What I mean is what actually exists. That's what I'm calling truth. Nothing else. What actually exists. So when you see something, hear something, through your sensory perceptions, I understand. And you heard this loud pitched sound, and you say, hey, I heard a loud pitched sound. Well, that's the truth. What it was, you don't know, but you heard it. That's truth. That's all I'm saying. Speak truth. Everybody knows truth. Little babies be knowing truth. Are you telling me the truth? Yes, ma'am. They know truth. Just like that. You ain't got to ask them but one time and they got it. Because they born in it. They born in truth. They're not born in sin. They're born in truth. And joy into this paradise that they came into. Being that they're immortal souls. I say it's souls. I'm going to change that word because they done took souls. And we used to be called soul people. Back in the day, in the 50s and 60s, we were called soul people. And they ridiculed us out of that terminology. And they came up with, you know, the man, Sam and Dave, them say, soul man, I'm a soul man. So, because we used to be called soul people. People, you know, now we got to be called all these other names and stuff. And then they came up with the Blues Brothers, trying to usurp the soul man vibe and put it under their vibe. And if you notice them with Jews, because they always maneuvering our PR, our public relations in the world. They're the ones that started that stuff about we cursed and all that stuff. Check them out. I mean, we curse. We got to be slaves of the world. That's their PR job on us. And then we go around talking about we curse. We got to come out of this generational curse. The generational curse is the fact that you believe in some hype that was put out on you generations ago. That's the generational curse. And now you're going to live that way. You're going to lie. You're going to steal. And all that things they accuse you of, which is the curse. If you take accuse and a curse and just add an "are," which means are you going to do it, then you become accursed of what you are accused of. And you know, come on, y'all need to stop playing games, man. You know you ain't that way. Lying and cheating and stealing, you know when you do it, you feel like it ain't, like you said, I don't feel right. But they didn't convince you that right and wrong is up here, but it's not. It's in your being. So I'm saying, okay, you can take that, kick it around, do what you want with it, and be like, this ain't paradise. Hey, and that's your experience. And the next person, sitting right next to you, can say, oh man, I see what Drew's saying. This is paradise, man. Life is good. Just, y'all both sitting there. Neither one of y'all got no physical problem. You ain't got no arrow in your chest. Nobody, bullet wounds just leaking blood and shit. And you say, hey man, life pretty damn good. Do it right. This is paradise. I'm experiencing this. I'm satisfied here. I got this. There's no pain and life pretty doggone good. Just like when the worries are in your head. That's why I say you have to come out of your head, man. Don't live up there. It's not good for you. It's bad territory. Go up there every now and then when you need to go up there. Like you go up to the attic. How often do you go to the attic? Yeah, don't go up there. You go up to the attic when you need to retrieve something. Yes? That's when you go up there. When you need to retrieve something. Oh, I need to know or retrieve the information I got when I was in high school for something. Then I go to the attic and get it. Otherwise, So, there you go. This is paradise. Stop living so much in your head in the attic with all them worries and stuff and old bills and whatnot. And come down and live in the house where it's happy. Life is good, man. Enjoy life. Make something. Busy hands make a happy mind. Make stuff. They used to tell us like this, idle hands are the devil's workshop. Because you ain't doing nothing. You ain't making nothing. You're going to be bedeviled. You have to keep doing and making things so you don't become bedeviled. These things here are not just what you've been told. These things carry electrical impulses, and they're all quantified. You can say just what you're going to get from each one of them, and this hand, same way. All of these, we know all of this stuff from, they call them science fiction novels, but you see you could touch your screen, because they say fingerprint, but they know the difference between your fingerprint and your finger. Because if you don't use your finger, you just a print, pin it out on a piece of paper or something, not gonna work. This is what I'm saying. These things have power, unbeknownst to you, especially when you don't use them. That's why a lot of times we admire people like the boy called himself Prince. His father, I guess, named him Prince. Played the guitar, played the piano. He used these right here all the time, all the time. This bring out the glory in you as beings to use your hands. See, I carve wood. I've been carving wood for 40, 50 years now. And so I'm always using these, and I make clothes for 25, 30 years now. So I'm always doing, I make this and I make that, and oh man, come on. You got to be using your hands. If you're not using your hands, and then who are you using your hands for? Your own purpose. If you're using your hand, I use my hands at work. You're giving all your energy to somebody else, and now you're going to tell me about it as though you're doing something for yourself. Hey, you just joying me, man. You're joking me. Get out of here. Even like I said, if you go to somebody else's work and like a job or something, and you do it for how many other hours, and then when you get off of that, you do so much for yourself. Not just cooking food or this or that and that and that. I say not just that, but you should do that too, because you go to Chick-fil-A and all these other places to eat. All you eating is garbage. Let me tell you one thing. The FDA did a thing recently. Put out a paper recently that said less than 5% of the food in the supermarket, in the grocery store. Forget about fast food stores. I ain't talking about that. I'm just talking about the supermarket where you think you're gonna go get good food that you could eat and it's healthy for. They say less than 5% of it is healthy, and that's at the supermarket. So once you go to all these other places that prepare food for you, you're going down from 5% on a steep angle. It's like crazy. Bam! From 5 to 0, less than 0. Some of that stuff is downright toxic. That means it's less than 0% good for you. Might be 49 minus 49% toxic, which means that'll probably kill you. We had rat poison and stuff, kind of areas of toxicity now. So I'm suggesting to you that you eat fruit as you can. If you can grow some, or go to a farmer's market type attitude and buy some, not from the supermarkets. Their fruit is already treated and set up so it'll last on the shelves. They are strictly corporate. That's why I say farmer's market or something like that, where people are handling this under their own auspices. And a lot of times the food is closer to the ground instead of being so treated. Because the smaller vendor is unable to supply enough volume to need all of that preservative. And so they don't have to use preservative. And you can get preservative free or almost free, GMO free, stuff like that, food. It's not, I don't mean GMO free, free of GMO business. So that's it. Live in paradise. This is what it is. Butterflies, flowers, make it like you want it. I know a lot of people, I go to their house, and their house be so niced up. And I'd be like, yeah, they get it. You just make wherever you at, nice it up so that you feel good in it. Take paradise and make it what you want, because that's paradise. And that's about it. Yeah, paradise is not a place. It's a state of being. And now when you say, hey, I'm going to go home, because at home I can relax and go back into my state of being. And in that, it's like kind of tricky. It becomes a place or a location. However, it really isn't. It's like a yoga mat. You don't. I Guess that's called yoga mat. That little mat people take around. But you don't need that to do yoga. Okay. I'm out. One love. Live in paradise. Decide to be happy. Speak the truth all the time. Tell your friends, neighbors, and your children. Truth builds confidence. Truth builds trust. And, you know, make something. One love.